So this is Baruch Fleischman, your host for the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. And today we're looking at the moon sign. Let me see what's going on with the moon. The moon today is a waxing. That means is the appearance of the moon, the maximum crescent, which is 4.97 days old. The moon is currently in the constellation of Aquarius. And the sun today is let me just double check this here. Today is the 5th of Teves, moving more deeply into this darkness, which is called Capricorn or Teves. That is where the sun is. The main thing that if you wanted to use a metaphor for, let me see what happened to my camera, try something different here. So he says the main metaphor that we're looking for is for the sun to shine on the moon. Because the moon represents Malchus. Malchus has no light of its own. It's only light for the sun, and that's the metaphor, is to try to the metaphor in the spiritual world is to try to place the sun and the moon into a yichud, into oneness, and it's a little bit about what we're going to be learning today in this Zohar, which is in Parshas V'yigash on page Reish Ches in the Zohar, and it is on Shif Kaf Gimel in Parshas V'yigash in the Matak B'Devash. Let's get started and see what it's going to say. There's a little shtickle Torah here. If we're at the very bottom of this page, and the first words on it are V'lo Yachol Yosef L'Hisapek L'Kol V'Nitzav Melol B'Gomer. So this Zohar has been working on this particular phrase where Yosef now has come to the crescent, the highest level of his ability to be able to withstand the brothers in front of him, humbling themselves in such a way. We see the last 2 days that we've been talking about Tikkun Chatzos, what we called, getting up at midnight and praising Hashem. A little bit difficult to understand, but it's really, I think, has a great deal to do with Yehuda, because Yehuda represents Malchus. Malchus is in the dark. Malchus doesn't see Yosef. He doesn't know. He has to yearn for Yosef to be there. He has to be looking for him, and this is the nature of the Malchus wants. Malchus wants to be close to Zer Anpen. The moon needs the light of the sun. So this is what it says, and he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle it anymore. Today the Farish pasuk says, so in order to explain this pasuk that he couldn't hold back anymore, Rabbi Kiva began the discussion and said like this: Pizer nasa davyanim, Pizer bavur hamamon, which just means scattered money, little monies that you give out. Asher pazer ha'adam nasa davyanim, that the person gives out. And he gives it to poor people. Tzidkasa medit la'ad. Yehi aschar tzidkasa, so the tzedakah that this person gave is going to stand for that person, shamar la'olam haba, and will guard him until the next world. Karno, let me see. Karno tarum b'kavod. Begam ba'olam haza, also in this world. Tarum b'memshalto, that will lift up his kingdom, b'kavod, in honor. But Omer, he says for like this: Tochazi, come and see. Kudsha barichu bara alma. Kodesh Baruch Hu created the world. Zohar. Ba'ashlit alei la'adam diyehe malka al kula, and he put the man in charge. V'hishlit alav es adam shiyah melech al hakol, that we should be kings and dominant over everything in this world. That is only in the case we're actually zocha to it by our good deeds. So as we said, in the creation of this world, and you'll have dominion over the fish of the sea, that is in over all living creatures, whether it be plants, or they be fish, or they be animals. So now this original man, and then Adam Azeh, that Hashem had placed into the world, has spread it out from him, or separates out from him many different types. So some people will be tzaddikim, and others will be evil. Some people will be fools. So he said, "V'yesh b'chem tzaddikim, v'yesh b'chem rishoyim, yesh b'chem tipshim, v'yesh b'chem achamim." V'kulhu is kain b'chu ba'al b'chasirim b'maskinim. So all of them will live in the same world together. There will be rich people and there will be poor people. V'kulhu begin the mizke elin be'elin. And the reason why we have a mixture is that we should be able to gain merit from opposites, from things that don't necessarily go together. Kodesh Baruch created the world like this, so that the Jewish people will be able to merit Makayim mitzvahs elu al yedei elu, that to be able to help each other to be able to do the mitzvahs. As far as the mizkei tzedekah rishayim, so he says like this, explains sheyizkor tzedekah, that what we really want to say is that the will gain merit, the tzedekah, by yachzira b'tshuva rishayim, by causing and teaching the rishayim. In other words, get them out of the situation that they're in. Lemizke chachimim in tipshin. So what he's saying is that the Talmidei Chachamim should be able to teach knowledge, das, which really means the middle line, the balanced line, as a tipshin to people who are fools and don't know how to get themselves in proper order. The mizke asirim im miskenim. And then that the people who have money should gain merit as a result of the way that they're able to give money to poor people. So this is what he says. He says little bits of scattered money he'll give to the poor. That is acts of kindness with a person's body and with his money and with his thinking. So he said the ha begin kach, because for this reason. Zachi bar nash l'chai alma b'yiskasha be'ilu l'chai. This is how it is that a person gains merit in this world and ties himself to the tree of life. More Zohar. Below od, not only this, ela d'cha tzedakah de'ihu avid koyim la'alma, but the tzedakah that a person does lasts forever. It's eternal. Because it's written like this, his righteousness will stand forever. Ki rosham mitzvah tzedakah nishar kayim. So there is an impression that is made in reality for a person who does acts of kindness, of giving, in other words, sustaining the poor. Al metzach ha'adam tamid. He says this is stamped on a person's forehead forever. But so the davar. So that's what's explained like this. What's the secret? That doesn't make a lot of sense, because forever people have bodies. We don't live forever. But what does live forever? But so the davar. But the secret of this is like this. Huki by being able to work on bali tshuva, bringing people back, bit tshuva. This is the same thing as bringing malchus, that is the aspects of malchus which have gone down to try to resurrect that part, those parts. I'm talking about the malchus of Atzilus, that part of it which goes down into us in order to try to pull that bit of kedusha of us out of the kali. How did they get there? How did we get stuck in the klipos? We got stuck in the klipos because of the actions of evil people. But when you give tzedakah to poor people, this fulfills what is needed for let me translate, it sounds better. He says, the money that you give to a niyah, mamala as kisarma, it fills that which is lacking, the shefa that is lacking, shala shchina. In other words, the shchina needs to give. So when we act that way and we give, then that supports her. By yedei shebalamed das l'tivshim, and by teaching Torah to people who don't know how to learn, who meir es hashchina v'tzad ha'chochma. This illuminates the shchina from the side of the chochma. In other words, the right line brings all this tremendous amount of shefa from the Most High down into Malchus. V'zeh shekasa from the side of Chachma. V'zeh shekasa karno shu hashchina. This is what it says. And the principle, the basic amount, which represents the shchina, because this is the starting place, taram b'kavod, will be elevated in glory. Sitromem v'ta'ala ayadei shefa. It will be elevated and made on high as a result of the shefa that comes from Chachma Shabbat. So Lamed Beis Desivas Kamizbar Kavod, with the Lamed Beis is the same gematria as Kavod. Kavod is Kaf and Beis, it's 5. 6 is 6 makes 11, and Dalet which is 4, so it makes 15. I don't see the Misbar Kavod. I don't see it. Kavod. Oh, excuse me, I read it wrong. It's 22, and 6 is 28, and 1 more is 30. 4 more is 30. Let me see, 32. Makes 32. Okay, sorry. There we go. But Omar, oh, then it says further. Masha Kosid Pizer Nasalav Yonim. Again, when it says that you're giving a little bits amount or spreading out your money to poor people, Rebbe Lozer starts to speak and he says like this: Kad bara kuche barichu alma. When the Kodesh Baruch Hu created the world. One moment, please. Okay, just checking that. Koyim le al samcha chad v'tzadik shemei. He established the world on one pillar, and that pillar which he established the world on, is called tzaddik. K'shedibra Hakadosh Baruch Hu ha'olam ha'emed oso ha'amod echad v'tzadik shemo. Its name is tzaddik. So he said, "V'chai tzaddik ihu kiyuma de alma." This tzaddik that we're talking about, and remember that we have a lot of chassidus around them, so we see the word tzaddik used all the time. But here we're going to be very specific about what the meaning tzaddik is. V'chai tzaddik ihu kiyuma de alma. This tzaddik establishes and sustains the world. Go to the Zohar. This tzaddik is what actually establishes and perpetuates the world. Because what does this tzaddik do? The tzaddik causes to extend all of the life force and all of the goodness that the Almighty has to give us. It's the tzaddik that spreads it out. Because it says like this, and Nahar Shuhu HaYisod. Now he goes more specific. He says the river. What's the river? The river refers to the Yisod of Zeranpen. Yotze Me'eden, it comes out from a place called Eden, which is also, he says, is Tiferes. Now think of the Spheros. The Hashko says again, in order to be able to water the garden. What's the garden? Is Malchus. So now we're coming back again to the sun shining on the moon. So he says that the idea is, the metaphor is to water Malchus, to bring sustenance to Malchus so that Malchus could grow. And from that position, then what comes out of Malchus splits into 4 different heads. Excuse me. And he explains what is written, Yafarid. So they could explain, Shoah, what does Yafarid mean? Mahu Yafarid, what does it mean that they split? Ma Kavanas Akasav, what is Amar Ella Hahu Mazaina Mashakya the Hahu Nahar. So this is what he wants to say. Malchus, the moon, has nothing of its own. Ella oso amazon, but that hamashke, that nurture, that food, that drink, shala yisod, that comes out of the yisod. Now tell us, a Malchus kula, Malchus takes it all, because the ultimate depository of all the goodness that there is to come into the world has to go through Malchus. Well, the baser is bara hahu mashkaya, and then after that, you start is badar. It splits that sustenance or that flow. The arba tigrin the alma. So he says, what's citrin to the 4 different corners of the world? It's all over the world. So this shefa that now is deposited in Malchus is now coming out. It goes into the 4 corners of the world. Now remember, the concept is the malachim really don't mean like a man that just looks like us but doesn't have a body. It could be like that. You could say that because the malachim may have all the physical qualities that we have because they are a channel. That's what it means, a channel. And when he says the camps of the malachim, he means the main source of the channel, just like any river. That any river has a place where it starts. So then you have to see where that place starts, and that's where it starts coming out and spreads and becomes something much bigger as it goes down into more physical areas. So what is the name of the camps of these angels? They are called by the name Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael. Merkavas HaMalchus, which in fact are the chariots of the Malchus. What's chariots? Means that they carry the shefa that's coming out of Malchus down to us. So he said, Rabim Haim. So there is a tremendous multitude of life. Hem mitzafin the kabel shefa hamshacham b'hamazon b'hamalchus. There is so much life that is waiting for this bracha to come out of malchus towards us. Kama da'at armor, like you say, Eine kol alecha, the eyes of all are on you. Yesabero ata noizim lechem as achlam be'ita. So he says that pasuk from Tehillim, it means what? Harisha Eine kol mashberos, mashberos. So the eyes of all that are down below that want to be able to be sustained, mitzafos el shefa al malchus, and are looking for the shefa that's coming from malchus. Begin koch, and for this reason, Zohar, Pizer nasa that yonim dot sadik, so that the pizer, the bits of sustenance that come out of come to those who are impoverished. In other words, those who are living on the earth, which is metaphorized by the moon. All of them who is empty. So he says that is like the tzedakah that is given by human beings and make themselves into like a yesod. Who yesod? This is talking about yesod. Hamfazer as shefach avyonim ayedecha b'malchus, who is able to give the sustenance and the bounty that comes from the Most High down through malchus. It only comes to the poor through malchus. L'chein said kasel umedet v'chad, and this is the reason why this tzaddik lives forever, or the tzedakah that you give lives forever. Dok k'nes Yisrael zu. So let's see what he says. Zuhi hamalchus hanikrat tzedkaso. This is the malchus which is called his tzedakah. Shel Yisod hanikrat tzaddik, from Yisod, which goes with the word tzaddik. So you have tzaddik as Yisod, and tzedkaso, his righteousness, refers to malchus. So the two of them go together. The begin kach b'shvil kach, the fee shehi mekabelas shefa mechayisod. So since she's receiving shefa from Yisod, they lahachios es atachtonim, in order to give life to the tachtonim. V'chein ihi kaima b'raz d'shlam b'kiyum shalim. So therefore, he omedes la'ad la'ed la'ad. Excuse me. She stands forever that way. This is eternal relationship. So yichud shalom, the secret of a mating of the male, which is the sun again and the moon. So he's yichad shalom b'kusheres im Yisod. So now she is completely one with Yisod. Hanikra bris shalom, who is called the bris of peace. Kedei lahashpil l'tachtonim. Her goal is to give to us. Befarish Mashakasev, and explains what he means to say Rasha Yira B'Ka'ah. So Rasha then looks at this and he gets angry. What Rasha is looking at this? The Malchus Risha. This is the Malchus from the other side. He said, Malchus, this is the Malchus of the Sitra Achra, Shahid Sarasa Shala Malchus, who is the opponent of this Malchus, the Kedusha, like a sister with two twins. One is good, one is bad. She is the Tsar, the opponent of this Malchus, the Kedusha. And when she sees that all the Shefa, the bracha that's coming from the Most High, is coming to the Jewish people and not to her, the Umas Olam Mekablos Rakat, about Tamsis, that the Umas Olam are only getting from the very bottom of this. And we say that in Kabbalah, we say from the Malchus of Malchus, that's all she gets. He coasses, she gets angry. Now the Zohar goes on. It says Tachazi. He says, come and see. Malchus Shemayim Iku Be Mikdisha. The Malchus of Shemayim is another word for the Holy Temple. Bava Rei HaMalchus Shemayim, he's so Beis Mikdash. Shebisham Nishpa Shefel Chayim Malzah L'Kol Ha'olam. This is the secret of what the Beis Mikdash is like. The Beis Mikdash is the place from which all the Shefa, the whole world, comes out from. He translates, in order to sustain all of those who are lacking, the poor. Who are the poor? The poor that do not have the light of Hashem shining on them like the moon. So that these aniyim now will come into the shade of the beams of the Shekhinah. Because of the shefa that now is coming to the poor, that is the people that don't know where they're at. That here we are in the world of darkness. But tzaddik do ihu ikre gabay tzedakah lemecheved l'mezeh l'kula. So this tzaddik, which we said is Yisod, is now called the Gabbai Tzedakah. He's the person who collects tzedakah. Let's see what he said. Yisod Nikra Gabbai Tzedakah. Yisod is called the master of tzedakah, the person who collects tzedakah, the visha goyva shefa ha'alyon dalamala, because she collects shefa, the upper shefa from up above, kedei lachainin v'lezun, in order to give chain, another grace, and to sustain as kol atachtoinen, to everything that is below malchus. That means all the worlds leading down to the very bottom where we're at. The chsiv pizer nasan avyonim, and this is the meaning of the fact that little bits of tzedakah they give to poor. In other words, they didn't dish it out. Begin kach, and for this reason, the fish should avoid tzedakah hatachtonim. So here in our world, in the shuls where we have somebody or people go around collecting, heim dugmas yisod zeranpin, they're similar to the yisod of zeranpin. So therefore, those people who are in charge of the tzedakah, shalamata, that is in our world, hagoyvim v'mekabsim tzedakah l'chalkam l'aniyim, so they collect tzedakah in order to give it out to aniyim. Notly ig agra l'kabel kuho, so he takes a reward. They take a reward for all of what they're doing. They have a tzedakah for giving tzedakah. Mekavlan Sachar connected call Shirim. So all of those rich people that give tzedakah, they get a reward for this. Tzedakah, those people give them tzedakah. Ki godol amaisa yosim in ha'osis. So the deed that is done is greater than he who does it. Because the Gabbai has to constantly working to get the money that the Ashirim need to be able to give. Because they're the ones that are giving the tzedakah to the poor. So the secret of this is that what the Gabbai tzedakah is doing is collecting, as if it were to say, bringing from up above the Ashir, that those who have, down below into his bailiwick, and as a result of that, he's able to give out to the poor. This is a tremendous thing, because what he's doing, it's very much like Yesod. That Yesod itself is what is Makabetz, which gathers together, called the Shefa, from the Vav Kitzvos, which is from Chesed Gevurah to Feres Netzach Hod, and then all of them pour into Yesod l'Sochel. Of the parsha pasuk shehiskil bos. For this reason, he comes back and he going to explain the pasuk that he said before. And he says, "Come and see." Bob Ray Masha Kasa below Yachol Yosef is Apek Lokol Hanitzavim. All of those who were standing around and watching the scene when Yosef was revealing himself to the brothers, Yosef couldn't hold it back anymore. Pirusha Yisod lo hoyu yochol his Apek. Meaning that what? Yosef Tzaddik represents Yesod. Now, what's so precious, important about Yesod? Because Kedusha, this is what we're talking about, Kedusha, not food, like regular food that we have. Of course, food and kashrus, but it means to say is that this bounty of bracha is only given through Yesod into Malchus and then down through us. So he says, Yesod lo hoya yochel hisapek. It couldn't hold back the Hashpia Shefa Mazon to give the sustenance, the flow of sustenance, the call of the Tzavim, all of those who were standing around and encamped around it. He couldn't keep it for himself. He needs to give it to them. Elon called the Kaima the Ibtazn of the Ibabilis, Shak Yachabene, Elohim Kala Oimdim. We're talking about all of those, again, metaphor to the moon. The moon has no light. Start filling up the moon with light. Now we're in a waxing crescent here. The moon is growing. So he says, the Omdim Samal Yisod, all of those that are standing around the Yisod, the Kabul Shef and Mazun, the Mashka Bemano, in order to be able to get their bounty from this Yisod, Malchus, through Malchus again. The Haim Sari Umasa Olam. Here we're talking about the appointed angels, in other words, the paths, the channels, the main channels that are going to the Goyim. Hamabakshim Tarfa, that want to have something to eat, almost to pass through their nations until the lower worlds. V'yikra hotzi kol ish ma'alei me'alai haidu sari umas ha'olam. So when it says that everybody's going to get something, talking about the people all over the world, the Goyim as well. Below Ahmed Ish Ito, the Pirish Shum Sar Mikol Osim Saria Uba. So there is no main channel. Though what Asar means, a prince of Malachim that go down the channels that go to the Umas Olam. Because Vada Yosef El Achaz, when Yosef made himself appear, when he made himself known to his brothers, Pirish B'Shasa Yichud, that means at the time when Malchus and Yisod, that is Yisod and Malchus are in Yichud and they're living together, Ito with him. The Knesset Yisrael, he's referring here to the Jewish people. The Knesset Yisrael means Malchus. Zohar Shechina, this is the Knesset Yisrael is another word for Shechina, another word for Malchus. So Zohar Shechina Chadnikbas S, she is called S, Aleph Tov. Kashihi Mukuberes, what is she called? This? Ima Yisod, when she joins together and is joined as one with Yisod, Shehusod Os Vav, which is the secret of the Vav. Achav, Elan, Shar, Vatichi, Chaylin. So when it says his brothers, these are all the other carriages of the people. Elohim, Shar, Merkavas, in other words, all of the cabs, or the transportation vehicles, Vatzvahus, and all of the different types of parts of angels that were with him, Shehem B'nei Heichol HaMalchus, that come from the children of this Malchus. So you have to see that he's saying, how did this develop out of it? How does the light, in fact, get to the lower world? Because it's written on them, Shalalechu Ne'emar, it said on them, Ne'emar Achai, by Re'ai, my brothers and my loved ones, Hey B'nei Heichol HaMalchus, that is the people that are around the palace of Malchus, Daber Shalom Bach, I will speak Shalom to you. The Haino, the Tzorach HaYichud, that is, why am I doing this? Shalom refers to bris. I will be bringing my bris to you. That's the concept of the Yichud of the sun and the moon, also called Yichud of Malchus and Yisod. So let's stop here because it's a long piece for today. There's a little bit more, but I think that's it for today. And thank you so much for listening. Call too.